2, 1. And we are live on the present tense with Sam Stewart on 91.7 FM, WNJR Washington, and online at WNJR.org. Folks, we've got a great show lined up for you tonight. Last time on the show, we had on golfer Cade Patterson and swimmer Morgan McGuire. That was a great episode. We bring you a special Wednesday late night edition of the present tense tonight, and I know it's going to be a good one. My guest on the show tonight is the head coach of your President's field hockey squad, leading the team this year to the Empire 8 Conference Tournament. Everyone, welcome on the show tonight. Coach Maggie Fees. Coach, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm excited to have you here in the studio, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight. So, Coach, the squad went 6-10 this year, but had a lot of bright spots, a lot of great young talent on this team that really showed itself. A lot of players who also, made impacts who were upperclassmen. Lily Gearing was Rookie of the Year. Haley and Ella, who are returning next year, also made All-Pac team. All Empire 8 team, rather. So, Coach, how would you assess how this season went for your squad?
I think it was a pretty good season. Granted, we had a lot of new incoming freshmen, but the seniors this year really made an impact on them and really helped them get through the season and really understand what W&J field hockey is all about.
Yeah, and I think you definitely have the seniors, and we're going to get to those young players as well that we talked about a little bit before the show in just a bit. But, Coach, what would you say the biggest things are as we move into the off season that the squad needs to improve on moving into next year?
There's always stuff to improve on, no matter what. Even for me as a coach, everybody's learning, everybody's growing. Some big things that I want to take into next year is improving our defense. We had a really young defense this year, and Anna, our goalie, who's a junior, really held us down. Ella was our center back. She had a really great season. Bailey, as a freshman, she came in and really helped out on defense, and she took it. I believe she was on the right, and she really took it. Well.
Mm-hmm.
And then Grace, who is also a junior, this was her first year back on defense. She played midfield last year, and she really took that position and made it her own. She's a forward-pushing defender, but yeah, I think next year we'll have a really solid defense, but there's a lot to work on, defensively throughout the whole team.
I gotcha, and I think some people have seen field hockey in the news, even though the season is over. You guys actually just switched conferences to the NCAC instead of the Empire 8, which I know from talking to the girls, a lot of those bus trips to New York, a lot of good memories there, but it was 8-9 hour trips every away game. So can you just tell the people at home what the rationale behind this move was and how this kind of impacts the team in the conference?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because the WJ field hockey doesn't play in the PAC like the rest
Yes,
of the
we
sports.
unfortunately do not play in the PAC. We would love if the PAC had field hockey. So for the past about 15 years, I believe we've been in the Empire 8, which is an upstate New York conference. There's not much field hockey out here in Western Pennsylvania. There's a couple schools. Allegheny is about the closest in PA. And we play them every year out of conference, but they're in the NCAC, which is Ohio, a little bit in Indiana, and then Transylvania is in Kentucky, and they were added to the NCAC with us as well this year. For me, looking at it as a coach, I'm very excited because we had so many long away trips where we were spending hours on a bus, then in a hotel. They were studying in a hotel, sleeping in not their regular bed, in an uncomfortable situation, getting up the next morning, eating a hotel breakfast, and then hopping on the field. And if you look at our away record, it's not ideal. So as a coach, I'm really excited for this move because I'm okay, we're only going to be traveling 2 to 3 hours, for a majority of our game. Now there's still a couple teams we'll have to travel 5-6 hours to, but it's so much less than we had to this year. And I know the team's really excited for a change, for a new conference, for a new challenge. So I'm really excited to see what they bring to the table in the NCAC. I think they'll do really well.
Yeah, I'm really excited, and I know that there's more opportunities, obviously, for the fans too, parents to go see away games versus having to drive 8-9 hours.
Yeah, and a lot of the out of conference games we played this year are teams from the NCAC, so that kind of forced me to switch up the schedule. So like I've been looking at teams. We have a lot of players from like Central PA. We have players from all over, but like there's a good chunk of our team that's from Central PA, Delaware, Maryland. So that's kind of forced me to look towards Central PA or like Maryland for our out of conference games. So it's even closer to some parents for those games, which is really exciting.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And Coach Maggie, on the present tense, we always got to get to know the guest at a real personal level. So I'm going to hit you with this one to start off tonight. When did you fall in love with the game of field hockey?
Wow. Well, I will tell you, when I ended my field hockey career at Elizabethtown, the one thing I said coming off the field to my coach was thank you for helping me fall in love with the game again. Because I probably fell in love with field hockey probably when I started in 7th grade. I always just had so much fun playing field hockey when I was younger. I played soccer a lot, so it seemed a lot like soccer to me, just with a stick and a ball. And when I was younger, I just loved to score goals. So anytime I could score a goal in field hockey, I was always really excited. And then moving on to high school, my coaches just had such an energy coming to practice. They really helped like instill that love in me and like grow as a field hockey player and learn more, like have a better IQ and learn more of like the details and how to like play like proper field hockey and not just like hitting the ball around. I would say like my high school field hockey coaches really helped me find that love and like instill it in me. So.
Wow, that's an awesome story. And Coach, what is the thing you love most about field hockey?
I don't know. It's really nice to like. A lot of people don't understand it because like it's such a like it's not a common sport.
Yeah.
But like when you know how to use a field hockey stick, like it is just like being able to hit the ball correctly, dribble the ball, like making pulls, like it's just such a like good, clean feeling, like when you can execute something in field hockey.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just such a fun sport to play, and I mean, winning is always a great thing. It's probably not my favorite thing, but like that feeling you get when you win a game is just something that like it hits like really it hits your heart.
No, I know what you're saying. I've actually cited you guys win against John Fisher this year.
Yes, I cried.
Which is a great moment. I didn't know you cried.
I cried.
No, that was one of the great moments. I got some of the girls came over and gave me a big hug. That was awesome. And that was like the week after the mic'd up thing. So I was like, and I knew how excited everyone was for that game.
Exactly. And it's not just about like the win. It's about like in that game they figured out how to be a team and how to work together. And like them running off the field and they were like, Coach Maggie, we did it. Like and it was like it wasn't like hey, I did it, I scored a goal. It was like we did it, and they were just so excited that they like finally made it like click as a team and like as a unit. And that's just such a cool thing to see.
Would you say that's your favorite memory from this year?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think too, like, and the reason I've cited it on here a couple of times is like sports is the one area of most people's lives that get tested every day.
Oh yeah.
Like I think it's the one thing in society, like, you know, your job, you might not be tested on something every day. Certain jobs you are, but like in sports, you have those tests, those trials, and like personally, like there's still some rules I could probably ask you that I don't quite understand in field hockey, but like I felt like those feelings just because it's like a common human emotion that we've seen. I felt like that excitement when y'all beat Fisher. Like I was getting emotional low key. Like I didn't even tell Haley or anyone this, but like I was like. You could just tell everyone wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, and that's the cool part about sports. It's life. Like that's why I love doing the football games. Like, you know, people yell at each other, people try to communicate. It's like this big test. Sports is all about revealing character.
And it's just such a beautiful thing when like everything like falls into place because like you can see the athletes like as a coach especially like I can see them like like what we worked on in practice, like coming onto the field and like seeing it click and how excited they get, and like especially with so many new players this year, like there were struggles from the beginning, but like slowly every day like something new worked, and they like it was so exciting to see like these young players, like they're just like, oh, I can do it, like I'm a part of this team, I'm a part of something. I've been chosen to start as a freshman, and like I can do it, and like that was just such an exciting thing to see throughout the season.
And what other like areas of life besides sports do you really get to see that aspect of people grow? And it's not many, and come together as a team. So that was honestly one of my favorite memories from this fall semester.
That's awesome.
It was an awesome game. And now here's a question. I think field hockey's pretty difficult because I tried it. I'm not very good at it. You can go check out the video on my Instagram from the mic'd up with Stroketober with the field hockey squad here. But what is the most difficult part of field hockey, Coach Maggie, besides bending over for that long? I'm not gonna lie, my back was starting off to bend over for like 5 seconds.
Well, field hockey is like a very unique sport because to you, like it's a lot of bending down, and that's what you see. And like, yes, it is a lot on your back, but like once a player learns how to like, okay, bend their legs and like be able to scan the field, like field hockey, a lot of the time when you're starting out, it's just like you're looking down at the ball and then you have to stop and look up and make the pass. And something that like players grow into is, and especially like in college, getting used to the speed of the game, like players can have the ball and have it on their stick and be like scanning the field, and that's such a hard thing to do in field hockey because it's such a natural instinct to have like your head down and your eyes down and like your vision like cut off. But like once a field hockey player is like ready for the ball and can see the field and is looking up and making those adjustments, like their game changes completely.
Wow, that's interesting. I never really thought about it like that because I know it's hard. Like I was watching a lot of the drills, but it's just like handling the ball and being able to look up and pass, because like I feel like the nature of it, just with how the game works, it's like passing. Even a simple pass can be difficult to control it.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, like during games and like at practice, I try to preach to them like, look up before you even get the ball. Know where, if you get the ball, know where you're gonna pass it, and that like that'll help them in the future because hey, like they're looking up if they're on the forward line, like, and they receive it on the sideline and they see like, okay, the next line of forwards is like 10 yards ahead of me to my left. They look up, see it, they get the ball, and they can make that quick pass. And that's like a big part of college field hockey because like you go from high school to college and the speed of the game is like one of the biggest like differences. So just being able to do that is like it helps players so much.
Wow, okay, that's really interesting. I feel like that gives a lot of context to the fan. I mean, because I know it's such a difficult sport. I never even thought about it like that. Wow, that's really interesting. And so, Coach, I want to ask you about your journey a little bit. So, you went to Gettysburg High School, earned a bachelor's degree from Elizabethtown, but first you started out at Westchester, then you moved to Elizabethtown, graduated in 2019, concentrations in entrepreneurship, family business. Now, I want to ask you, was coaching something you always wanted to do?
I was a very lost person in college. I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Nothing wrong with that. I have a lot of people on here.
Absolutely, that's what I always tell. I tell recruits, I tell my players that. I'm like, you do not, like, it's okay to not know, because that was me. I had no idea. I was like, business sounds good. I had always, like, growing up in Gettysburg, it's a lot of small businesses, and I grew up loving going to small businesses. So that was kind of my thought. I was like, oh, I can like get out of college, maybe like start a business, something like that. That was my thought process. When I was coming to graduation, I was like, well, I need a job. So I was thinking about coaching. I applied to a few jobs. I got a job offer. I turned it down in coaching at a college out in Ohio, actually in the NCAC.
Oh, that's funny.
And I turned it down because I was just like not ready to move that far away from like home, and I was like, I still was a little confused on what I wanted to do. So I got a job in insurance right after college. I worked there for a year and a half, and I also worked at a club field hockey team in the Harrisburg area.
Okay.
And that's kind of when I had my realization. I was like, I'm like, this is what I want to do. Like, it was really fun. Like, I coached indoor field hockey, which is so different from outdoor field hockey. And then I coached outdoor, and I coached like middle school to high schoolers, like younger high schoolers, freshman, sophomore. And I was like, I love like coaching these young kids, but like I really, really want to get into coaching, and I really think it's something I can be really great at, and I really felt like I could do it. So I knew like going from my regular job that I had into coaching, it was going to be like a big change up salary wise, a big change up like lifestyle wise, like everything. So I was like, I don't care, I'm gonna look into it and see what happens. Like, I still have a job otherwise. So I was looking for a couple months, and then I stumbled across W&J, but I definitely did not like at first know what I wanted to do, and then I stumbled back into coaching and field hockey, and I'm staying.
Yeah, no, that's all, and we're glad you're staying. And
Yeah.
obviously, you had a great college career of your own, starting all 34 games that you played in at Elizabethtown. And Coach Maggie, I love when coaches come on because I get a different perspective on things. So one question I want to hit you with right now is, if a first-year head coach came up to you and said, Coach Maggie, what is the biggest piece of advice you could give me for being a college head coach? What would you tell them?
To roll with the punches. It's not always going to go as expected, and you just have to be flexible. You have to be open. You have to be ready for anything. Like, you don't know what's going to come your way. A bunch of college girls, who knows what they're going to do? They have a mind of their own, and I was in college once, so I understand, but you really got to be ready for anything. But it is a very exciting and fun job if you let it be that exciting and fun.
Now, Coach, my next question for you, and I'm sure you had to answer this a lot this year. If a W&J freshman came up to you on the first day of practice and said, Coach Maggie, what is the biggest piece of advice you can give me for being a field hockey player at W&J? What would you tell them?
The extra work goes a long way. Extra work on the field, extra work in school, like, it always goes the extra mile, whether somebody sees it or not. You're like, the work you put in is going to help you no matter what.
That's good stuff. I gotta take that in for a second. That's good. That's good stuff, man. Now, my next question for you, Coach Maggie, is one that I have added recently, and I really like hearing answers. So, what fuels you?
I like games like St. John Fisher are like, so it's something that I crave. It's like games like that where I see an effort from every single player, and as a coach, you have to be realistic. Like, not every player is going to have the best game of their life every single day. Some people are off, but like, if everybody's putting that like work in and working hard, like, it doesn't matter if like they make a mistake, they're still running back to get the ball, they're still doing their work to get like back and support the team. So it's just like that effort from everybody, and the energy that they bring to practice. When people get excited, we had a senior, Maddie Devine, who just always had this like electric energy she brought to practice. She was so happy to be there, and she would always be like, fake it till you make it. Like, sometimes I don't want to be at practice, but like she always had a positive attitude, and you never know if she had a bad day or not. Like, it didn't care what happened like at school or in her personal life. She came to practice, she was excited to be there. She would like sing songs, she would like have fun, but she would be serious when it was needed. And it's players like that, it's like, that's just so refreshing to see, because like, you can come to practice and you can be nervous, you can be scared, you can be super serious, but like, sports are also about having fun. And she was like the perfect mix between like the serious and fun person. So it was really nice.
Coach Maggie, I have to ask you, what do you think makes a good leader? Can you speak on the leadership of this year's senior class?
Yeah, I think every leader is obviously different. The leadership this year, we had Lena Crowley, Lindsay Diggin, and Maddie Devine. We had 3 seniors. Those 3 seniors were our captains, and they were a really good mix of like, okay, can I curse on this podcast or no? I'm not going to. Never mind.
No, hell and damn are allowed.
Okay. I'm just not going to.
Okay, still more fun. Okay. Hey, in between the break, during the podcast part of things, but yeah, my boss is probably listening tonight, so maybe
okay,
not.
But like they knew when to call their teammates out on their crap.
Okay.
But they also knew when to like make it a positive, fun experience, have a good time, play the music, dance. And I think it's just really about balance this year. I think what makes a leader great is somebody who puts the team first, like somebody who comes off the field and is like, okay, like what do we need to do better as a team? Like not like, okay, what do I need to do? What did I do well? Like those aren't the questions like that need to be asked. Like it's what's the team like dynamic? What needs to be fixed for the team? What are we doing well as a team? Like it's somebody who is team oriented, team focused, somebody who, like I said, can call their teammates out on their crap. And but also like is a shoulder for like anybody who needs to talk. Like it's also just like an extension of a coach. Like a leader is a lot of things, a captain is a lot of things. And I think we had 3 great captains this year and big shoes to fill, so I'm excited for that.
Wow. And Coach Maggie, while we're on the subject of upperclassmen, I do want to speak about the freshmen on this team, because you already mentioned Bailey, Lily. I could go down, the list goes on and on. I believe there was 10 on this year's team, and I mean all of the players got in, contributed. So can you speak on the freshman class, not only the girls who are starting, but also coming off the bench, making a difference?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really what makes a team is the people coming off the bench. And sometimes they don't always see it that way. And as of when I was a player, I didn't always see it that way. It's just I'm not getting time, I'm not starting. But we had a couple players that were really great, like Riley Dortenzo. She came off the field and she was always like right in the game, a spark plug off the bench. She was willing to play anywhere, do anything, and like that's the thing. Like she's a player that like I now like really trust, because it's like she'd do whatever I told her. Like I'd be like, Riley, go in for this person, and she'd be like, yep, okay, right now, and I'd be like, yep, go ahead, and she's like, okay. And it's just like players like that, and especially as a freshman, like you don't always get freshmen that are that willing to do like whatever you ask. And we did have a really great group of freshmen this year. I'm really excited for them to grow into sophomores, juniors, seniors. But like especially next year as sophomores, because I know that they'll be a really great group to take the incoming freshmen under their wings, show them what WJ College is all about, what WJ Field Hockey is all about, and like really impact them and help them out through college. And I think that's a big part of being on a team is like having those like kind of like sister or brother like figures that
for
help
sure
you grow as a human. And that's really like sports aren't just about like what you're playing, it's like about the human connection. And,
for sure.
And I really think that like I'm really excited for them to take on that, because I know they'll do really well.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think one thing we've talked about here a couple times is sometimes you don't remember what people do, you remember how you made them feel. And they remember how you made them feel.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
And I think that, that's really cool. I think that connection of like family is very cool. And like talk about through sports, I ran into one of my best friends tonight, and she's playing the basketball team, she's back, and it's like she's like my older sister, and like sports is a way that you can get closer to people. I feel like that's a theme tonight, like the importance of sports. But like, man, I know all the girls on your team are real close, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, even I know Haley, and we've talked about sports a lot, and I think just being an athlete, that's part of a family, and that's the cool part about WJ. I think it has that unique culture for sure.
I just talked to one of my recruits, and something that I always push is like we're 70% athletes. Like this school is there's so many athletes, and it's so cool to see like athletes supporting athletes. And I was talking to this recruit on the phone the other night, and she's like Dubjay is like one of my top choices. Like, I think it's so cool that you have 70% athletes. Like, I want to be around people who are like me, who like have the same mentality, and are like kind of doing similar things. And I was like, yeah, it's a really cool place.
Yeah, definitely a lot of supportive people. I don't want to get too into it because I'm gonna start like getting emotional, but like,
oh my gosh,
it's definitely been like, it's definitely like, I always used to think like, you know, it's hard being away from my family, all this and that, but like, I found out I had a lot of people who are part of my family here too.
Absolutely.
So, but not to dive too much into it. It's not season.
I will make you cry.
We're not getting emotional tonight. Not tonight. But man, that's good stuff. And Coach Maggie, my next question for you is, what is one trait that it takes to be a successful field hockey player?
Oh, that's a good question.
I try.
You're really good at your job.
Oh, thank you.
A successful field hockey player. I think there is a lot, but communication is a really important trait. Like we've talked about, field hockey players, we're bending down, we're looking down at the ball. Like, if you're not communicating to your teammate, like, what they can't see or hear. So that's a really big part of field hockey. When I was going into college, I remember when I was going to Westchester, I was a recruit and I went to their practice before an overnight, and I was sitting in the stands with my mom, and she was like, "Are you hearing this?" And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "They do not stop talking. They don't shut up. Every single person on that field is communicating to each other, and it's effective, it's loud, and they can all like it's all like it all has a purpose." And after that moment, like I've always been a talker, but like on the field, my teammates would literally make fun of me for talking so much. After that moment, I was like, that's what I'm gonna be like. Obviously, it didn't work out at Westchester, but at E-Town, like my teammates would be like, I would be like running down the field, like, I'm coming, I'm behind you, I'm over here, and they're like, oh, there's Maggie, she's telling you exactly where she's at. Like, and sometimes I'd be like, because I was on defense, so if I was like recovering, I'd be like, I'm coming, I'm here, and my teammates would just always make fun of me because like they're like, you're always talking, and I was like, but you know where I am, you can hear me, you know if I'm there, you can pass me the ball. Like it's a very big part of field hockey.
Wow, interesting. And my next question for you, Coach, is, and I think it might have to do with some themes that we dealt with a couple questions prior, but when your career is wrapped up, when it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered?
Oh. Field hockey player or coach?
I don't know. You turned it back on me. I would say let's take it from the coaching perspective.
Okay. How I would want to be remembered. I always like to go into things with a positive attitude. And something that I am learning as a coach is the balance of like being positive and being a head coach and having to like set those boundaries and be stern and not strict, but like lay down the hammer when I have to, because I gravitate towards being like a more positive person and having a more positive outlook, and so that's always something I want to, in like every situation I want to be remembered as somebody like, oh, I had a positive interaction with that person, like whether I'm talking to like a random person on the street or like my team. And I think that's like, you don't know what somebody's going through, you don't like know how their day went, like you don't know what's happening in their life, so I never feel like it's appropriate to be like rude, like or mean. Like there's always a better way to go about things.
For
so
sure.
I always want to be remembered as positive, but like I just want to be remembered also as somebody like they can rely on, somebody they trust, and somebody they want to work hard for. Because if you don't have that, your team is, there's like, if your team can't look at the coach and be like, I want to work hard for my coach, I like really respect and trust my coach, like it's tough to rally behind the program if you don't have that. So
Wow, that's good stuff. And I feel like that theme of you don't know how your words are impacting someone throughout the day has come up a lot. And I think that like I've tried to be more honest about like mental health and stuff. We had a great conversation with the swimmer Morgan last week about mental health. I think like it's such a big problem, such a big concern in our society. Like, and it really can start with small solutions, like checking up on someone, seeing how someone is doing, saying how you doing today, like how'd your game go last. I mean, because sometimes if someone feels like they're listened to, that can make all the difference. So I really like that point.
No, I am always an advocate to like make sure, like as a coach, I want to know, like I want to be aware of like, hey, how are you doing mentally? Because like I know when I was in college, it was never talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I was very quiet about like anything that was going on with myself, and I would go to practice, do my job, go back to my room, study, do all the things, and like I was very adamant about like not letting people know, like, and that's the like double-edged sword, I guess that's the term, of like being positive. And it's like I want people to see me as positive, but it's not always what's going on behind the scenes. And that was a big thing for me in college, where it's like I was like, especially at Westchester, and like I really enjoyed my time at Westchester, and I loved the team, and like I had a good experience, but behind the scenes, like there was more going on, and I just never had anybody reach out, or not that I didn't have teammates, but like it was just like nobody like went beyond, and I just like was so far gone behind the scenes.
Wow, that's really interesting. I think that like the conversations are some of the biggest things that can happen. It's like, I mean, I know like obviously there's therapy, there's treatment stuff, but sometimes like just being able to have a friend you can open up to can make all the difference. I think like I'll take it from a little bit of a different perspective. Like I think for men nowadays too, it's like this idea of like, and like when I was going through some stuff last year, I went to Coach Mountain. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm just gonna man up and get. He's like, yeah, Sam, I don't know about all this man up stuff. It's not like we're moving past that. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that like sometimes for guys it can be really hard to talk about, because I think just in culture it's like you're not supposed to talk about things if you're a guy. You're not supposed to get emotional. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I have 3 brothers, so it's been a lot of that, and I think something with COVID that like was a positive outcome is people were talking about their mental health. I don't know, like maybe not for everybody, but that was something like during COVID, like that was a big thing in my personal family, is like opening up and like talking about it, because like my brothers are very quiet people, and COVID hit us all pretty hard, so that was something that like really helped them like open up to our family and be like, hey, I'm not okay, like I need somebody to talk to, and something more is going on. So it was, I think that's one thing we can take as a positive from COVID.
Wow, very interesting perspective. That's a great answer. And Coach Maggie, thank you for that. But I do want to get to some lighter stuff. We've been kind of swimming on the deep end of the pool. But let's get to some fun stuff. Now, Coach Maggie, I hear you are a big Taylor Swift fan.
Oh my God. I didn't get Taylor Swift tickets, so if you have them, I would like them.
See, I told you I do my research. I interviewed several sources to get these answers.
Who told you that I'm a Taylor Swift fan?
You know, as part of my job as radio host, I can't reveal that information. But
Fine.
So I usually ask, if you could listen to one musical artist for the rest of your life, who would it be? Would it be Taylor Swift?
Yeah, probably.
What's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
Oh my gosh.
So I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
I like the old. I am a fan of the old Taylor Swift, like the country. I don't like the new stuff too much.
That's okay.
But like the old stuff, like Our Song.
Yeah. Oh, it's so
Love
good.
Story, all that.
Love
You Belong With
songs.
Me.
I love all Taylor Swift. I've been a fan since debut. I have never been to a concert though. I know.
Really?
Well, I had concert tickets to one show that my ex-boyfriend got me, and I broke up with him before the concert, so...
You should have just waited till after. I'm sure I'm not the first person to say that.
I know, but he bought them for me for Christmas, and they were like in June, so it was a tough...
Oh, that's...
That was a long wait.
Okay.
It would have probably been morally not super great of me to do that.
At least you admit it. It wasn't great.
Yeah, I'll be honest, if anything.
Jeez.
But But yeah, I am a
Okay. What's your favorite song?
Taylor Swift. It was All Too Well. That's the basic answer. All Too Well 10-minute version is really a good one. But I will say Come In With the Rain, I believe it's off of Speak Now, is one song that I will always go back to, and I love Come In With the Rain.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Now, my next question for you, Coach Maggie, and Haley gave an interesting answer to this, which I'll reveal after the question, but
Oh no.
if you had a free Saturday with no plans, no commitments, no practice, no game, and money wasn't a problem, I gave you all this money I make from doing the present tense.
Yeah.
What would you do with the Saturday?
My Saturday? I was actually talking to my friend. I have on my phone, like, I think it's like 39 questions to fall in love. And it's just like random questions. So all my friends and I will get together and be like, they're very personal questions, and we'll ask them. And that's like one of the questions.
Really?
Is like, what would you do if you could
What is it called? 39 questions?
It's like the 31, 39, I don't know how many, but it's like, I'll send it to you after this.
All right,
It's like
might find some
all
present
the
tense questions on there.
Yes, that would actually be perfect.
Okay, bet. All right.
No, it's really good. Some of them are like a little bit like, they're like, oh, you and your partner get together and look each other in the eyes. But there's like
that's the past tense podcast. That's the after hours show.
You totally get into the after hours, yeah. So what would I do? It was just for one day. Like,
One day.
I'd love to go on a trip. I love to travel, but like if it was just one day, I love to cook, so I'd probably like wake up, go on a walk, make breakfast, sit, maybe read or journal a little bit, just kind of.
Oh, you journal?
Or relax. I try to.
I'm a big
have
fan of
time,
journaling.
I do. But a relaxing start to my morning. Probably get a workout in.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to think.
You could take a trip somewhere. It's a really fast plane. So
really
Haley
fast
said she would go to Greece and take some of the girls on the team. We had to check who would be going or not. Unfortunately, she didn't say you, so I don't know if you'd be going.
I don't need to go. I'll go on my own trip. I would probably go. I don't know. I'd probably go somewhere on a hike, like maybe in Alaska. I really want to go to Alaska.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I love to hike. I'd love to go out there.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I would definitely go to like a national park or something. On a hike. I love to hike.
I know you said you like to read. There's a really good book that's named Connor Knight, and it's called Leave No Footprints.
Okay.
And he went to his fiance dumped him like a couple of days before the wedding, and he decided to go to all 50 parks.
Oh.
I'm sorry, there's more than 50. I'm not sure how many there are, but he decided to go to all of them in 1 year. So it's like he gives a little background on each, like his journey at each one. It's cool.
Awesome.
I love that. I think like national parks are super dope. Like just being outside and
absolutely.
Just
I went on a hike yesterday with my family.
Oh, where'd you go?
So Michaux State Park is like it's near Gettysburg, where my family's from.
Right. Okay.
So I was home the other day and we went on a hike and it was very nice.
Have you been around here much?
No, I really want to go to Ohio Pile.
I was just about to say that. Me and my dad went. He was supposed to come up this weekend, but his flight got canceled because of hurricane. But a couple weekends ago, he came up and we went to Ohio Pile and rode bikes.
Yeah.
It's fun. I want to go paddleboarding in the summer, but it's a little chilly right now.
I love paddleboarding and kayaking.
Cool. Yeah, paddleboarding is cool. Surfing's probably my favorite sport besides baseball.
Nice.
But when the waves aren't good, I like paddleboarding for sure. Paddleboarding is fun. But Ohio Pile is beautiful. Cooper's Rock is cool, but then if you're looking for like a local place, like Washington Park is cool.
Okay.
Mingo Creek.
Oh yes, I have been to Mingo.
Mingo Creek is dope. I like Cross Creek. It's a little place I found about 20 minutes west of here, so it's always good to get outside and connect with nature.
Yes, I agree.
Shocker,
absolutely.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's too bad the weather is bad though. A lot of the time here. Is this your second winter here?
Yeah, my second winter.
I was telling Coach Daza that he's like, I was like, tell him it gets bad. And he's like, yo, you weren't kidding. Is it gonna be like like this for the next 4 months? And I was like,
yep.
Yeah, pretty much. Gotta take that vitamin D.
Yourself.
sit next to a light or something. Get that sunlight. Okay, cool. Now, next question, just because I love movies, is what is your favorite movie of all time and why?
I was actually sitting in my apartment before this, thinking, I'm like, what questions might he ask?
It's a basic one, but I don't really ask it because I I don't want I mean, it's cool if the viewer knows, but I just like recommendations for movies. So.
Oh. Have you ever watched Parasite?
No, I heard it's really good. I've been diving more into foreign film though.
Yes.
I think some people avoid it because it's like, I don't know, because it's not in English. Like,
yeah, no,
but I know it's dubbed,
so
right? Is it dubbed or do they have subtitles?
I
know it's a foreign
subtitles.
film,
Yeah.
right? From
Yeah.
Japan,
South
Korea, South Korea.
Yeah, South Korea.
Okay, yeah, I just watched this one called The Forgotten Battle. It's a Dutch movie about World War II, and then I'm watching one right now. And it finished it called All Quiet on the Western Front, based off the book, and it's a German, like it's in German and stuff. So like, yeah, I think like for movie people, we gotta expand outside. You know what I mean? Because foreign films.
My brother is very big into movies.
Mm-hmm.
So one Christmas, he as a Christmas present asked everyone. He's married, so he asked like my family, all my brothers, my parents, his wife's side of the family, for all of their top 5 movies. I would never be able to find it right now because it was years ago. And so he made a list for everybody. So he gave everybody for Christmas a list of everybody else's top 5 favorite movies, so they could have like a list of good movies to watch. But I will say, like, I love cheesy things. Like, I love Taylor Swift, so like obviously I love cheesy things. But How to Lose a Guy in 10
Someone
Days
told me that
is a wonderful movie.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm low key into rom-coms. Like, I respect a good rom-com. Like,
so good.
Like
good
He's Just Not That Into You,
Yes.
Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh my gosh, they're so good.
What's the one? The Wedding Planner.
The Wedding Planner is amazing.
It's my mom. She gets me into these
But
movies.
There's feel good movies, and I love like an intense drama sometimes, but like it's nice to watch a feel good movie. I did watch a movie last night, Vengeance. BJ Novak, he's in The Office. He wrote it, and it's about this guy who is doing a podcast about this girl who like pretended he was her boyfriend. But I missed like the middle part of the movie. But I saw the ending, and the ending
you fall
was really
asleep?
good. No, I was watching it with my brother, and then I went upstairs to take a shower and came back, and it was.
I gotcha. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now on the trailer and stuff. It looks pretty cool.
It's actually really good.
It just came out.
Yeah. It's new. It's like on Prime or something like that.
All right, cool.
That's very good.
All right, yeah.
I love that classic High School Musical. That's an ideal one.
I was a Disney Channel kid, but I never got into that. I know like some people are like a Nick kid.
Yeah.
Was Nick? I'm not calling you any age, but was Nick more your like time? Was Nick more your like generation? I'm not calling you. I knew as soon as I said, I was like, hold on. Let me preface this. I was more into Disney than Nick, honestly.
I did watch like both Disney and Nick. I don't really remember like what was on Nick. I don't even remember.
I think it was like Drake and Josh and stuff like that.
I watched that.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely watched.
Phineas and Ferb, that was my show.
Watched that.
Did
you watch SpongeBob?
I like SpongeBob. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good, but I like the Disney. I was like Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Yeah.
Fire.
It's a good one. Sweet Life on Deck.
Yeah, it was good, but not as good as Sweet Life.
Yeah, not the original.
No, for sure. They just don't make the shows the same way anymore. They don't.
I know.
Now, Coach Maggie, I hear you're an intramural sports star at WNJ. Or you're quite the volleyball player.
I give the effort. Like I said,
That's all intramural sports is about. Yes.
It's all about the effort.
I heard you were a intramural champion in volleyball last year.
No, we were not even close.
Come on, Haley.
Who lied to you?
Come on, Haley.
So we were like last place, probably. I think it was the baseball team that was first.
Okay, let me just say something to baseball. It's like I saw them up. They won flag football. They got up all dressed up for Anchor Bowl. Like, and not saying like you should take it seriously, but the baseball team, we go crazy.
I love it.
I mean, I guess I haven't played an real sport here, but like they go crazy.
It's so fun.
Yeah, no, they get into it. They go hard for sure.
Yeah, we were nowhere near winning. I haven't been in many volleyball games this year. I've been a little bit more busy, but I played last week. I did okay. It was my first game back.
Are you like a hitter?
Oh, heck
Libero?
Yeah. A 5'2" middle hitter. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Okay. It isn't a girl. Like.
No, we do just like rotate. So I do get to the front. I don't do much up there, but.
Who's on your team?
Marty is the like intramural coordinator.
He's
the
a track. Oh yeah,
track
taller
cross
guy.
country. We have Isabel, who's lacrosse, who was also helping me out with field hockey. Lindsay, who's the volleyball head coach. She showed her face. She played a little bit.
I mean, isn't she'd be pretty good, right? If
she would serve for us a couple times and get us a couple points and then sit back down. Shay, the SID intern assistant. Jackson, the swim assistant. Addie, the soccer assistant.
Okay. Where's Coach Sauce Boss, Coach Crummer out there? I need to see.
He's invited.
Coach Crummer.
Invited him.
I want to see Coach Crummer throwing down some spikes, laying out.
Always welcome. But
I always say about volleyball, I can dig it.
It's a good one.
Thank you. I tried. All right, one question for the audience before we go to our trivia and our break. Why is Haley Wahobiak your favorite field hockey player, and why?
Oh, I heard this question was going to be on here. I don't pick favorites, so I'm going to take can I plead the fifth on that one?
Yeah, you can plead the fifth. Haley, sorry. What can I tell you? But Coach Maggie, I got trivia for you tonight. I hope you're good at geography.
I used to be in like 8th grade.
Okay, dope.
Probably not.
So I was like, this is kind of a new style of question. Get our guinea pig for tonight, and then we're gonna head to break here.
Okay.
How many miles is your high school field hockey stadium from Cameron Stadium?
Okay.
No, I'm gonna give you multiple choice. And how we do it is you have you have to tell me the exact decimal to that.
I was ready to go.
No, I know you were. So how we do it here is we're gonna head to break. You have time to think about it.
Okay.
You can talk out loud for the podcast viewers at home. And then we come back, we read the question, and you give us the answer.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and read your choices out now. You have time to think about it. So, answer A, 194 miles. B, 100 miles. C, 254 miles. Or D, 450 miles. We are talking with Coach Maggie here on the present tense, and we will be right back to hear her answer on the present tense with Sam Stewart on 91.7 FM, WNJR Washington, and online at WNJR.org. We talked about Taylor Swift tonight, so I got some T Swift for you right now.
I love it. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So fun.
It is a good time. I love it.
What song is it? Oh, good song choice.
Thank you.
How do I have the song length?
Yes, 3 minutes.
Can I run to the bathroom? Is there a bathroom on this floor? If not, then
we're almost done with the show.
Okay,
Just because the keypad's being weird,
Yeah.
So we'll come back, trivia, and then quarter of the day, and that'll be the show.
Awesome. Okay, I'm not gonna look for the answer. I'm just gonna.
Okay.
You can watch.
Okay, cool. You just pulled up your
Haley
quote.
texted me the radio show. How was it?
It also started putting the YouTube up on or the podcast.
Nice.
We started doing that at the CZM. My friend's like, you should add a video into to add a little element to it.
I like that.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. I like that one. I have 3.
3 quotes?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm gonna pick one now.
No, you can go with 3 if you want.
The one's really long, so I'm gonna ignore that one. Well.
Coaches always have quotes. Coaches are usually big quote people.
There's a quote in my office, but I forget what it is. It was just there. Okay. I have it. That is really fun though. I like this.
It is. I love it. I usually do it on Tuesdays, but with everything that got me around, I felt, I was so ready for tonight. I've got one tomorrow night too.
Oh, nice,
so
nice.
the starting quarterback and tennis player. So
Awesome.
yeah. It
Do you usually get like 2 different sports?
Usually, I'd say the majority, if you look at all of the episodes we've done, it's usually either a person from the same sport's going all the way through, or 2 people from the same sport.
Okay.
Like Haley and Lily came on together and just did an hour.
Nice.
Usually that's how it is. Yeah, but sometimes, I like to change it up too. It's like split with one sport, or like we'll do just one person all the way through if we're really getting into a conversation, or we'll do like one sport and then 30 minutes like really intensive and then switch. Like
nice.
just try to change it up and
I like that.
keep myself try to improve my skills, I guess.
Nice.
Keep pushing.
I love it. This is very fun.
It is. I love it. This has always been, no matter what I've been going through, it's always, sometimes it's been the only fun hour of my day, like the only hour I felt
Yeah.
like good about myself. And it's like, because it's just learning from people's stories. Just it's just so much knowledge that's out there. And when you talk to people, we can learn a lot. So I mean, it's cool that the viewer gets to hear it, but like I get to learn a lot from people too. So that's cool.
That's always, my dad is a physical therapist, so he talks to people like all day.
Yeah.
And he's like, you always like, you just want to keep talking to people, like you always want to learn about them. Yeah.
Got to.
I feel like this will be a very fun career.
Yeah, I mean, so this summer, I'm gonna be honest with you, it was kind of a rough semester, tough year, sophomore slump, with a lot of different areas of my life, and like, this pro surfer from Jamaica, I was like, what if I had him on the? So I was like, I just threw down the camera, and like we just talked, and I was like, this is so fun. And then, one of my friends, Kylie, she was like, can you interview me? And she was like a surfer, she's a painter, and I was like, let's do it. So I went under my house, and we set up the camera. We talked. I was like, I still love this. I still love talking to people. So
it's very cool.
Yeah, it's. I just I think everyone's got a story. So it's cool to talk. You know what I mean? So all right, we got 10 seconds or so.
I'm ready.
We are back on the present tense with Sam Stewart on 91.7 FM, WNJR Washington, and online at WNJR.org. Today we're talking with head field hockey coach at WNJR, Coach Maggie Fees. And before the break, we asked Coach Maggie how far her high school field hockey field at Gettysburg High School was from Cameron Stadium. The answer choices were A, 194 miles, B, 100 miles, C, 25 miles, or D, 450 miles. And Coach Maggie, your answer for tonight is?
C.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's incorrect.
No,
it's actually 194 miles.
It?
Yes,
Oh, that's
not too far.
Wow.
Small world.
Wow.
I was glad. I not gonna lie, I was struggling coming up with one tonight, so I was glad you were in geography. That was close. That was the second closest option.
Close. Oh, I really thought I had it. Whatever.
A for effort. Next time, for sure. Now, Coach, I gotta ask you before we go to the quote of the day, what would you improve about? And for those who don't know, Stroketober took place this October for WNA Field Hockey. It's where everyone basically takes like what I would call similar to a penalty shot on the goalie. Now, what could I improve on my stroke form? What are the keys to having a good stroke technique?
Oh, I'm trying to remember what yours looked like.
Ugly. It was ugly. I'd pull up the video if I could.
One thing.
I was Ella said I was too wide.
Okay. Well, one thing I was always taught when starting out, I don't follow it now because I am older and have more skill. But when I was first learning how to take a stroke, my coach always told me, keep your stick on the ball. It's so much easier to not mess up if your stick is already on the ball. So that's how I started out. That's usually how I try to teach people to start out is stick on the ball. You want to get as low as possible. A lot of people try to make them very pretty, very high into the corner, like when you see in soccer, an upper 90 shot.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to do that. But I always like to say just keep it simple. Look for a corner, stay low. There's also a pocket where the goalie it's really hard for the goalie to save the ball, which is when their hand is out and they're between their thigh and their forearm. So right in this area is really hard for them to defend. There's a couple of tricks to it, but I like to try tell my players to keep it simple and shoot low corners. They don't always listen, but some have good strokes that go to the top corner or higher into the net, which is fine. But starting out, I always like to say keep it simple.
Interesting. I can't wait for Stroketober to be back next year. We'll have to run it back with the biked up. That'll be awesome. Now, Coach Maggie, it's time for my favorite segment of the show. It's time for the quote of the day. I'm gonna turn it over to you.
All right, let me pull it up on my phone.
All right, cool.
Okay, I have two. I'll give you the two.
I mean, I know you got three. I mean,
I have three, but
I do love quotes, but you decide.
The third one is this long. Oh, I can't even get it to show. It's that long. So.
Okay, yeah, maybe the first two.
Yeah, the first two are just a sentence. So
okay.
The first one is a Michael Jordan quote, and it is, "You must expect great things of yourself before you can do them." And I think that's just like a really great quote about holding yourself to a higher standard. That's always something that I, as a player, did, and as a coach has very much carried over. I always expect the best. I always expect the full effort from my players. And when I was a player myself, I always knew when I was not like giving my full effort, and if I was not giving it, I was always in my head angry with myself. So I think that's a big thing as an athlete is your expectations. And then my second one is Serena Williams. A champion is defined not by their wins, but by how they can recover when they fall.
Wow.
So I think that's a great one, because people look at sports and they think it's all about winning, but I think we've talked a lot about it today. It's about so much more. It's about the human connection. It's about like the feeling when everything clicks. It's about working hard, pushing yourself. It's so much more than just the win. So, yeah.
Wow. Great stuff, Coach. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for coming tonight and like allowing me to do that whole mic'd up thing. I know Haley, when I posted it, and some of the other girls were talking about it. So thanks for allowing that to happen, and thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Yeah, you're always welcome to a practice.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And I look forward to you guys, taking on some opponents in the new conference next year. And a lot of this, a lot of these good players returning for their second, third season. So, yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and I look forward to the future.
Thank you so much.
All right, everyone, we are going to be back tomorrow night. Jake Pugh, Ty McMaster. Jake, the starting quarterback for WJ. Ty, great tennis player here at WJ. That's going to be a really fun episode. Yes, back-to-back nights. I love it. I'm feeling it. Let's get it. But until then, everyone have a great night. Remember to live in the present tense.